The CEO of Stellantis just said this.
We've only got about a minute left, but I wanted you to tell these guys what you told me outside. I said, look into the crystal ball and what do you see in terms of consolidation? And you gave me a number of major automakers that you think we're eventually headed towards. Tell these guys what you see looking down the road. And I don't know if you outside, was that 10 years you're looking down the road?
Yes, I think that given this pressure on the affordability, 10 years down the road, possibly in the planet, there will be around 5 big car makers in the world, around 5. Stellantis will be one of them. I can tell you, I'm very confident about what our people are doing. By the way, congratulations to them. But around 5, that's the number.
More complicated. How many brands? Because one of the things that's so fascinating.
No, but if you take, but look at this. If you look at major automakers, how many would you say we have legitimately major around the world right now? 15, 20?
Yeah, 15 to 20.
You could argue too, that's too many.
So he's saying it gets down to 5. You pick the 5 that are going to survive. He says it's going to be Stellantis. Does Toyota survive? What happens to Honda? Does Honda not survive? Somebody takes Honda over at some point? What happens between GM and Ford? What happens with Volkswagen? And BYD is in there.
Do you hear that, people? This man is making pretty big claims, saying that in the next 10 years, he believes that there'll only be 5 major auto companies left on planet Earth. There are currently about 15 or 20 of them currently right now, and they believe, well, he and the company Stellantis believe that in the next 10 years, it'll drop down drastically to only 5 big players. I wonder who they're going to be. All right, so let's do a little dive into Stellantis and who this guy is and who does he think he is to say these claims. What does Stellantis have under their belt and what do they know that we don't? All right, well, Stellantis is a multinational automotive manufacturing corporation formed from the merging of the Italian-American conglomerates, the Fiat Chrysler Automotive, and also the French PSA Group. And they have multiple cars underneath their belt. I'm sure you guys know a few of them. Here are some of them right here. They have the Abarth, the Alfa Romeo, Chrysler, Citroën, Dodge, DS, Fiat, Jeep, Lancia, Maserati, Opel, Boget, I forgot to say that one, Ram, and Vauxhall. Don't get me wrong, I mean, I am a Tesla fanboy and all that stuff, but it doesn't mean that I don't like a good, muscly Dodge car every so often.
I don't want to buy an electric Jeep.
Yeah, I know this year, Stellantis is going to bring to the US market only 8 new pure BEVs this year. And Stellantis in the world will have, by the end of this year, 48 BEV models, which is half of the total model portfolio of the company.
And I don't know if you all have noticed, but lately all CEOs of major car companies seem to be having this big push for electric vehicles. It makes you wonder why, especially if a lot of people still have this big idea that they want to have cars with engines and they don't trust electric vehicles. Why are they making this big push? What's going on here? And as you can see from what he said in this here short video, he said they plan on bringing 8 new electric vehicles to America in 2024. And by the end of the year, they plan on having globally 48 total battery electric vehicles in the future. And it kind of makes you scratch my head. That's pretty much of a big number to have that much. And how are they going to have that much inventory and put that many cars together? I mean, I could be wrong, but that seems like a big mountain to climb. But my thing is, he says they're very confident that Stellantis will still be around in the next 10 years. But I'm curious about who are the other 4 going to be? If he believes that there's going to be 5, who are the other ones going to be? Personally, I do believe that it's going to be Tesla and BYD. Tesla and BYD are definitely the leaders in the space of electric vehicles right now. Mainly Tesla because they're only making battery electric vehicles. BYD, they do make some hybrids, but they still have engines in them. But I think that the future is going to be fully electric cars. And it seems like a lot of car companies are turning their backs on their engines slowly, but you know, a lot of the mass and the people don't know. But the people who own these major companies, they're aware of the big switch that's coming and they are trying to turn around a massive ship. And it might be too late for some of them, according to what he's saying, because he says there'll only be 5 players left. Huh? And you know, notice how Stellantis is a group of multiple car companies smashed into one. So what's to say that this trend won't continue down the line? Like, how do we know that all the Japanese car makers won't just come together like Honda, Toyota? And how do we know that they won't just join forces and become that big group? Like, this could happen to all other American car companies too. Like, for example, if companies are struggling to stay in business and they're falling apart, wouldn't it make the right idea to just become a group together, conglomerate all that, smash it in nice and tight? That's what Stellantis did. And who's to say that that won't happen again? And who's to say that Stellantis won't have to charge up with another group of people to make their companies last? We never know. But like he said, there's going to be 5 major players. So that means that there's going to be a lot of cars disappearing in the next 10 years. So apparently, a lot of people don't know this, but switching to electric cars is going to be the future. And if you want to stay in business, you're going to have to go with the trend. Despite if you have a lot of customers who are like, I don't want electric cars, I want to have an engine. That's cool. But the majority of people buy cars for the value and the cheapness of it so they can just get from point A to point B. There's only a few outliers of people who need to get their muscle cars and the engines that are loud and, you know, the fancy Lamborghinis. But the majority of people, they buy cars that are affordable and cheap. Like for years, the most sold car was a Toyota Corolla, not because it was dope and it was the flyest car there was. It's because the value and the price per dollar that you can get. It was a no-brainer for people. So once you start realizing that these battery electric vehicles are going to start coming out in the next 5 years or so, they're going to be costing anywhere to like $18,000. That's going to make the people who would buy the Corolla easily make the switch to start buying battery electric vehicles because they're cheaper to make and they're going to have high value. This is what it is, people. Make fun of me all you want. I get it, blah, 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 blah. But in the next few years, you're going to see I was right. And my idea, I'm just going to be investing my money in Tesla. I know down the line that's going to have a good payoff for me and for anybody else who decided to jump on board. So, I mean, that's just my 2 cents, right? Well, that'd be enough for today. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow with more information about Tesla, what's going on in the automotive market, and we'll see what happens next. See you tomorrow.